I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Imagine you've been handed the keys to this incredible prototype vehicle.
Yeah?
And we're not talking about your standard sedan. This is a machine worth millions. Top-tier engineering, custom specs, an engine that just hums with this perfect rhythmic power. It's the only one of its kind.
Wow.
So here's the question. How do you drive it? Do you redline the engine every morning before the oil is warm?
I would hope not. No.
Do you pour, like, sludge or cheap additives into the fuel tanks?
Absolutely not. If I have the keys to something that valuable, I'm probably obsessing over the maintenance schedule. I'm listening for every little rattle,
Yeah,
keeping it polished.
right. You treat it with reverence, maybe even a little paranoia.
Hmm.
And this is the whole point of what we're covering today. We're all walking around operating a machine infinitely more complex than a Formula One car.
Hmm.
And yet, most of us, we run it into the ground without a second thought until that check engine light comes on.
And let's be honest, sometimes we ignore the light too, just hoping it'll go away if we, drive fast enough.
We absolutely do. But today, we are flipping that script. We're digging into the February edition of the Life 360 Wellness Corner. Since it's February 2026, the entire issue is just laser focused on American Heart Month.
Which is so timely. The statistics and the source material, they're pretty sobering. Nurse Tiara Smith kicks off the issue reminding us that heart disease is still the leading cause of death.
Right.
But the goal of this deep dive isn't to scare you with stats. It's more like providing an owner's manual.
Exactly, an
Yeah.
owner's manual. We have a stack of insights here from Dr. Hazel Archie, a nutritionist named Margot, and fitness coach Rome. So the mission is to look under the hood of this vehicle, the human body, and figure out how to keep the engine running smoothly.
And, the sources take this metaphor to a place I really didn't expect. They're not just talking about mechanics.
No, they're talking about theology.
It's a really distinct blend. Usually when we talk about cardiology, it's all plumbing and electricity, arteries and pulses. But this source material frames the heart as the temple of the Holy Spirit. The argument is that you just can't compartmentalize your physical health from your spiritual life. That caring for the engine is, well, it's a form of worship.
So let's start with that engine itself. Dr. Hazel Archie gives us this breakdown of what the pump actually does. And honestly, when you stop taking it for granted and read the specs, it is kind of mind-blowing.
It's an engineering marvel. Dr. Hazel calls it a rhythmic pump, but that simple phrase just hides so much complexity. Its main job is distribution. It has to push oxygen, nutrients, hormones, immune cells to trillions of cells in your body. It's the ultimate logistics network. Every single cell is waiting on a delivery from the heart.
It's not just delivery, though. It's sanitation. That was the part that really stood out to me.
Correct. People forget this function. The blood is the waste management system. It carries away the exhaust, the carbon dioxide, and all the metabolic toxins.
So if the pump fails...
Or if the vessels, the fuel lines get clogged, the tissue essentially suffocates in its own waste. Dr. Hazel uses this great phrase, life in motion.
I stuck a pin in that phrase, life in motion.
It's so accurate because in biology, stagnation is death. The heart teaches us about system unity. Your foot might seem a long way from your chest, but if the heart doesn't send blood there, the whole system starts to shut down.
Which brings us to the first major pillar of this deep dive, the spiritual core. This is where Dr. Hazel pivots from anatomy to something much older. She brings up Proverbs 4.23.
Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it.
And this is such a fascinating intersection of theology and physiology, because usually in a sermon, guard your heart feels metaphorical.
Right. It means, watch what you watch, guard your emotions, control your temper. And Dr. Hazel agrees with that. She calls it spiritual flow. Humility, peace, love. Those are signs of a spiritually healthy heart.
But she's arguing it isn't just metaphorical. She seems to be saying there's a physical consequence to a spiritual problem.
Oh, she's arguing it's quite literal. She connects spiritual flow directly to physical flow. The premise is that God designed them to be interlocked. You can't have a spirit serving its purpose in a body that's breaking down from neglect.
So the spiritual state of the driver affects the mechanical state of the car.
Exactly. Which brings us to stress.
Right. Everyone talks about stress, but Dr. Hazel frames it as an engine issue.
Well, think back to your car analogy. Imagine sitting in your driveway, car in neutral, and just flooring the gas pedal.
Oh, wow.
The engine is screaming, the RPMs are in the red, the temperature's spiking, but you're going nowhere. That is chronic stress.
That is a terrifying image when you apply it to your own chest.
It is exactly what happens biologically.
Right.
When you're stressed, your body dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your system. It's preparing you to fight or flee.
So your heart rate shoots up, blood pressure rises.
Exactly. And that's great if you're, running from a bear. It's terrible if you're just sitting in traffic stewing over an argument.
And this is where the advice in the article, it really surprised me. I expected eat less salt or run more, but Dr. Hazel's first prescription for heart health is to release unforgiveness.
It sounds like advice for your soul, doesn't it? But she's presenting it as a medical necessity.
Okay, walk me through that. How does holding a grudge actually clog an artery?
It comes back to the load on the engine.
Yeah.
Unforgiveness, bitterness, anger. These are forms of sustained high-level stress. When you hold on to a grudge, you're keeping your body in that fight or flight mode. You're keeping the idle set way too high.
And over time, that causes damage.
Over time, that high pressure damages the lining of your blood vessels. It creates inflammation. You're literally wearing out the parts faster.
So forgiveness acts as a kind of coolant.
Effectively, yes. When you forgive or when you pray or do deep breathing, you're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest mode. It signals the engine to idle down. It lowers your blood pressure. It lets the body actually repair itself. So those soft spiritual practices, they're actually hard physiological interventions.
They're non-negotiable maintenance. You can't just redline the engine forever.
It'll blow a gasket.
Yeah.
Dr. Hazel is saying, for the sake of your arteries, let it go.
Okay, so we're guarding the heart by managing our stress, our spiritual state keeping the driver calm. But even the best maintained engine needs the right fuel. You wouldn't put watered-down gas in that Ferrari.
You'd ruin the injectors.
Yeah.
And this brings us to Margot, the certified health coach in the newsletter. She tackles the nutrition side of things.
What I found so interesting is that she doesn't start with cholesterol or fat, which is what I always associate with heart diets. She starts with blood sugar.
It's a crucial distinction. We often treat the body like it's a series of disconnected compartments. Here's the heart box, here's the diabetes box.
Right.
Margot points out it's all one system. High blood sugar damages blood vessels. It makes them stiff and sticky, which makes the heart work way harder to pump blood through them. So what supports stable blood sugar is heart healthy.
And her strategy for this is plant forward. Now, I have to play devil's advocate here. When I hear plant forward, I hear you can never eat a steak again.
And that's exactly what she's trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Words matter. Plant-based often implies strict veganism. Plant forward is more like an architectural term for your plate. It just means the vegetables, the beans, the fruits, the whole grains. They're the foundation. They're the stars of the show.
So the meat becomes more of a side dish or a garnish. It's a shift in proportion, not necessarily total elimination.
Exactly. And the secret weapon she identifies in this whole fuel mix is fiber.
I feel like fiber has a bit of a branding problem. We think of like cardboard cereal or something our grandparents eat.
It does have a bad rap. But think of fiber as the regulatory system for your fuel injection. When you eat simple carbs, white bread, sugary snacks, it's like dumping raw gas on a fire. Whoosh.
A huge spike in energy, then a crash.
Right. And that spike damages the vessel walls. Fiber forms this matrix almost like a gel in your gut. It slows down the absorption of sugar. So instead of a spike, you get this slow, steady release of energy.
It keeps the engine running smoothly.
And it signals that you're full so you don't overfill the tank.
So Margot moves from theory to practice with a recipe. She calls it simple veggie pasta.
And it actually sounds good. It's a perfect example of plant forward in action.
Okay, so she specifies whole grain pasta.
That's the fiber base.
Yep.
Then she uses frozen mixed veggies.
Which means you don't need to be a chef chopping for an hour.
Convenience is key. But the real hack here is the white beans.
Beans in pasta. I admit, I raised an eyebrow. It feels like mixing genres.
It's actually a very traditional Italian thing. The white beans, they have this creamy texture when they break down a little, but they pack a massive punch of soluble fiber and protein.
So you're getting the comfort food vibe of pasta, but the beans and whole grains are acting as that brake on the blood sugar.
Precisely. You rinse the beans, toss them in with garlic, diced tomatoes, some Italian seasoning. And the best part, it's a one-pot meal.
Oh, minimal cleanup. I am a fan. She mentions you can swap things out.
Yeah, her core philosophy is progress, not perfection. Don't have white beans. Use chickpeas. Don't have diced tomatoes. Use a jar of marinara. The goal isn't a Michelin star meal. It's just to get high-quality fuel into the system.
That mantra, progress, not perfection, it really feels like the antidote to diet culture.
It is. Most people crash their vehicle because they try to overhaul everything overnight. Margot's saying, no, just change the fuel mixture a little bit. Do it most of the time. That's sustainable.
Okay, so we've calmed the driver with our spiritual health. We've upgraded the fuel with plant-forward nutrition. Now we have to talk about the fact that this car was designed to move.
A Ferrari sitting in a garage for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's just a wreck waiting to happen. Seals dry out, fluids settle, things seize up. The body is exactly the same.
This brings us to Coach Rome and the maintenance section. He grounds his advice in 3 John 1.2.
Prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. There it is again, connecting the soul and the body.
But I love how Rome reframes the motivation for exercise. Usually it's framed as vanity. I want abs or penance. I ate pizza, so I must suffer on the treadmill.
Rome flips that completely. He called it everyday obedience. He sees movement as an act of gratitude. You're saying thank you to the designer for the machinery.
It shifts the mindset from, I have to do this, to, I get to do this.
For sure. And his big strategic point is consistency versus intensity. This is where so many people get it wrong. They think if they aren't gasping for air, it doesn't count.
Right.
But for heart health, consistency is king. You just need to run the engine regularly so the oil circulates.
So Coach Rome lays out a 7-day heart-healthy movement challenge. I want to walk through this because it's surprisingly accessible. I was expecting day 1, run a marathon.
No, thankfully. Day 1 is a walk, 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And he explicitly says you can break it up, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
That basically eliminates the I don't have time excuse. What's day 2?
Day 2 is bodyweight squats, 3 rounds of 10 to 15 reps, just sitting down and standing up. It engages the largest muscles in the body, which helps pump blood back up to the heart.
Day 3 is more of a lifestyle choice. Choose movement over convenience.
Yeah, the anti-stagnation day. Take the stairs, park at the back of the lot, fight the sedentary gravity of modern life.
Okay, day 4 is the core. Wall planks.
I love this modification. Getting on the floor is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A wall plank engages the core without the trauma of getting on the ground. It's so accessible.
Day 5 is upper body. Wall push-ups or knee push-ups.
Again, low impact, high value. Just keeping the upper body mechanics fluid.
Day 6 isn't really a workout. It's mobility.
Gentle stretching and breathing. This circles right back to Dr. Hazel's point. Deep breathing lowers stress. It's active recovery.
And day 7.
Active rest. Just an easy walk. The big takeaway here is that none of this requires a gym membership. It uses your own body weight.
It really lowers the barrier to entry. We're not training for the Olympics. We're just performing basic maintenance.
Exactly. And the cumulative effect of these small movements is just massive.
Yeah.
It lowers blood pressure, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces cortisol. It's a positive feedback loop.
So let's zoom out and look at this vehicle as a whole system. We've got Dr. Hazel telling us the electrical system, our spirit, and stress controls the idle.
We have Margot upgrading the fuel to plant forward to keep the lines clean.
And we have Coach Rome making sure the mechanical parts move every day.
It's a truly holistic approach. And what I appreciate is that it doesn't scold you. It invites you to participate in your own well-being.
There's also a community element here we can't ignore. The newsletter mentions the H&W Fitness Bootcamp, healthier church meals, but there is a specific date coming up, a rally point.
Yes, get your calendars out. Friday, February 6th, 2026. It's National Wear Red Day.
Is this just a fashion statement, or is there more to it?
It's a signal. Wearing red brings visibility to heart disease, but for a community like this, it's also a sign of solidarity.
I like that, using it to spot your team.
Right. If you walk into church or work and see someone else in red, you know, okay, they're on this journey too. Maybe that's your new walking buddy. Isolation is a risk factor. Community is a protective factor.
So we have covered a lot of ground. As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm thinking about that prototype car we imagined at the start.
It really changes your perspective, doesn't it? If you truly view your body as a high-performance vessel designed by God, negligence feels less like just laziness and more like, well, poor stewardship.
It puts weight on the decision to take the stairs or eat the beans. It stops being about vanity and starts being about honoring the machinery.
It does. And remember, the goal isn't a perfect, scratch-free car that never leaves the garage. The goal is a car that runs beautifully for the long haul, so it can do the work it was created to do.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener, the driver. We're not asking you to rebuild the engine today. We want you to pick one small maintenance task.
Maybe it's swapping your white rice for brown rice tonight. Maybe it's doing 10 wall push-ups while your coffee brews. Or maybe, and this might be the hardest one, it's making a phone call to forgive someone and finally taking that load off your engine.
Whatever you choose, Your heart will thank you for it. Thanks for writing Shock